Hey there. So my next guest works with youths in order to get them into understanding that there's more to gaming than just playing games. It's really about those skills that we develop as people by being gamers. And he's working with the kids, he's working with the adults and the parents to show them that their kids aren't just sitting there in their room for 12 hours a day doing nothing. They're actually learning real skills like persistence, and they're learning reading skills and math skills because you got to count how many bullets you got in that gun in Call of Duty, right? But anyway, I'm really excited for this one. I hope you guys enjoy it. Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to the Gamerpreneur podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Bradford Carlton. Today I have a very special guest with us. I have LaQuinn Thompson. Hey there, LaQuinn. How's it going?
Going great. How are you?
It's a beautiful sunny day in Las Vegas. How about yourself?
It's pretty hot one in Pennsylvania. I'll tell you that. But I'm enjoying it. I'm doing it.
Hey, I did 9 years in Ohio, so I understand. You got the humidity up there.
Oh yeah, it's a little different for me.
All right, so LaQuinn, let's just get right into it. Why don't you begin by just telling us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name is LaQuinn Thompson again. Born and raised in York, Pennsylvania. I have a passion for gaming and just content creation in general. I am the founder of the Beast Initiative Push esports and gaming program I do for the kids in my community. Our mission is we just want to bring the community together through gaming. We've been pushing this for a while. I would say a good 2 years now. But my main goal with this is I just want to see unity with our community, and being able to provide gaming to different areas of our city has really shown some positive things. I'm starting to see some community building and different people around our area come together. It's a beautiful sight. But that's why I'm passionate about what I do, and that's basically who I am. I'm just a person that wants to give back and serve our community as much as possible.
Well, that's wonderful. I really believe once we start breaking down those stereotypes around gaming, all of the positives really start to come out.
I agree. 100% agree.
Okay. So LaQuinn, I start this podcast with a single question I ask every single one of my guests. I'm going to ask you as well. Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being high, how weird are you?
Oh man, I consider myself a good 9 or a 10.
Why is that?
I embrace being that oddball. No matter what, I've been like this since I was a kid. I was always considered the hyper child when I was a kid. In school, I was the one climbing up monkey bars and flipping upside down for no apparent reason. So it was something that I always embraced. And as I grow up, I grew up from just being the youngest kid of the family. I wanted to be a person that kind of stood out. I didn't want to kind of fit into the norm of whatever everybody was doing their own thing. So I wanted to kind of be different. Why not embrace being different and embrace standing out and being that oddball? So I love it. I love it.
Fantastic. I'm right there with you. My mother had a nickname for me. I was the showboat.
Okay. I love it. I love it.
Okay. So this is the Gamerpreneur. So I need your gaming cred, even though it's just all there. When did you first start playing games?
When I was, I want to say when I was 5. My oldest sister had a PlayStation, the first PlayStation that came out. And I still remember the first game she had us play. It was Pizza Hut at the time gave out little PlayStation demo games. And Tomb Raider was on there, and Tony Hawk Pro Skater was on there. And I fell in love with Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
You wasn't good at it from that generation.
I know, right? I wasn't good at it. I just kept falling everywhere. But it was just the music was pretty entertaining, and just experiencing that connection with me and my older sister playing video games, and I just learned a lot from it.
You heard they're remaking it, right?
Yes. I can't wait. I cannot wait.
I have put so many hours into that game. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, definitely. Oh, it's going to be beautiful. I can only imagine the graphics now.
All right. So you started out that way. How did it progress as you grew?
It progressed after my sister saw, my whole family saw that I was so into the PlayStation, and I used to sneak her PlayStation out of her room to my room, and she caught me a few times. So I'm like, all right, I got to get my own thing. My great aunt gave me a Nintendo 64, which I still have to this day. and it was probably like the best invention I've ever in my life. I had that. Progressed with Pokemon Stadium 2. We had Buck Bumble when that was a big game on.
I love Buck Bumble.
The
that rap at the beginning.
I know, right? It was like a classic. It was such a classic, you know. We had so many games with that, and then on my 9th birthday, my godmother gave me a yellow a yellow Game Boy. It was my very first Game Boy, and the game that came with it was the Pokemon Yellow edition, the Pikachu edition. That was probably where I first fell in love with Pokemon, and it never went away. So, but I got from there, and then I went straight to the PlayStation 2, and I just kept growing. I just started to realize that this is something I love. You know, I got to the point where when we used to have family functions, like we used to all go to my grandmom's house. She used to, cook out, all this great stuff. I was the oddball. I was the weird one that would pack my PlayStation 2, all the games that I had, and take it with me to my grandmom's house to make sure it was connected with my cousins. We plug it into our giant TV, that little box TV that she had, and we used to sit in front of there eating food and playing games the entire time. So that was my part of how I could bring my little cousins together, my older cousins together, and we just had a ball. We had a blast with that.
I love it. So, all right, so LaQuinn, what do you play today?
Oh man, I'm a big fan of FPS games, first-person shooters. So Call of Duty has been a huge one for me. Warzone, on the other hand, I'm not good at battle royales. I try my best, I really do, but it's not my thing. I've been playing Rogue Company. So far, that has been the go-to game on my streams lately, and I'm loving it. That's probably the game I'm going to have to stick to for a long time.
Very nice. All right, one last gaming question for you, LaQuinn.
Sure.
You got to choose one game. What is it? What's your favorite?
Oh, man. I'm torn. Honestly, if I had to choose, I'll have to go. It's a different perspective, but it's The Sims. I can play The Sims forever.
Sims 1?
Of course. It has to be the first one.
Okay.
I missed the first. I don't know. The
Sims 2, they improved like everything about it. Like it had all those great expansions.
Very true. Very true. I don't know. It's something about that classic, the first Sims on the PC, man. It was just, I don't know. It was a classic. It was just
I remember.
Awesome.
I even had the hot date expansion.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
All right, so let's get over to the preneur part. I want to know more about your what you got going on with the Beast. But before that, what's your professional background? What do you do, like IRL?
IRL, my biggest thing is community outreach. I'm a big person with community, just trying to bring people together. I'm a big person of putting together events for the community, anything that can bring people together and have them engage in some way, shape, or form in a positive outlet and give people a peace of mind. That's what I do. That's what I'm driven about, and that's what I'm passionate about.
Man, how'd you get there? Like, what brought you to this place?
When I was 14 years old, my goal at the time was to become a youth center director. I started out going to a youth program since I was in first grade, and I never wanted to leave. I didn't want to leave. I aged out of the summer camp program when I was 13 years old. 14 years came around, and I'm like, look, I want to do, what can I do to give back? What can I do to say, hey, I still want to be here? They hired me on as a summer camp counselor, and I stayed until I graduated high school. And just learning from the counselors there, the director there, the experiences that I was able to help our youth in our city embrace being those oddballs and embrace being unique. It paid off. It pulled me into the field of human services and say, hey, I want to continue giving back in the community. I can see the positive impact that I've been able to give into other people's lives, and why stop here when I'm like a young teenager where I can still do this as a career. So I went to college, and after college was over, I was able to come back, and I got a job as a youth center director, and it's been life-changing. I've been able to introduce gaming and esports to our kids in our community that it typically feels like they're the last ones to find out about this kind of stuff, because it felt like that when I got home. I was like, "You guys ever heard of esports?" It was like, "What?" I'm like, "Oh, we got work to do. We have work to do." So, but they didn't I never put two and two together. You know, they had a lot of kids around our area are very competitive in gaming, especially NBA 2K, Madden, Call of Duty in general. They're very competitive gamers, but they never put they didn't know that this can be a professional thing, or the realm of esports is as big as it is right now. So I had to come up with a creative idea to introduce them that esports is more than just competitive gaming. There's also the background, like the behind the scenes work of stuff. What about shoutcasting, or coaching, or video production, or there's all that stuff in the background that a lot of people don't know or just don't really understand about. So I kind of had to paint a picture to them that you guys love sports. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. You guys see, Shaq retired and he became on ESPN, Sports Center or whatever. He's doing his thing. Like, that's the same thing with esports. People that have the passion of gaming who aren't good to compete, or they did their time and they still want to be around that area. You can still be a piece of that puzzle of the ever expanding esports world. So with our program, we have been able to kind of bring that giant world of esports into a very, very small located area to say, hey, let's try this out. So we do little mock gaming sessions. We'll do like a mock streaming session. We'll put Call of Duty on and let the bots play each other, and let the kids do shoutcasting to see if they're, if they can do it, and kind of coach them along the way, and just embrace their natural talents that they already have, and encourage them to keep pushing. If this is something that they're really interested in, let's get them introduced to that and let them flourish. With our program, we've been able to connect with a few other esports organizations out there. We got a chance to take our youth up to Harrisburg University. If you ever heard of Harrisburg University, they have the very first, I want to say, Supeat now, the Overwatch collegiate level team won their championship, the ESPN championship for that. So we were able to go up there and check out their training facility, got a chance to talk to the coaches, the players, and just having them be able to see the next step of esports in the collegiate level and how big this really is, and it's just amazing work. It's amazing opportunities for the kids to see this stuff for themselves, and not just hear about it. If they can actually witness the greatness in front of them and say, hey, I want to be a part of that world, that lifestyle, and they can start working on it now early on, just like I did when I was 14 years old and I knew I had a passion of becoming a youth center director or something with the community. I started early and started planning ideas and different events I wanted to see later on in the future. I'm now able to see that all come to fruition. So I want to be able to encourage the next generation to say, hey, you're not that young. You're not too young to start dreaming for your future,
So true.
So yeah, it's been a great ride. It's been a really great ride. For the last 2 years, we have put on Fortnite tournaments. We have had Mario Kart tournaments, which is pretty interesting. We have hosted different community game nights. We had a community game night with a wing night together. Biggest event that we ever had. But just
how did you keep the controllers safe?
Oh man, I was surprised about that too. But hey, the kids, they respect the property. They respect the space, and they understood that, hey, I got eliminated in Fortnite. I got to get the controller up. I got to do it. So it was a really good spot. It was, it just shows that gaming in general can really bring people together, and no matter what walk of life they're coming from, no matter where they're what their mindsets are, the belief systems, gaming is a piece, as a huge piece that brings everyone together, and it's a beautiful sight to see it.
Absolutely. Okay, so LaQuinn, it's actually very rare for me to find someone who essentially has a lifelong passion like you do. Very few people know at age 14 what they want to do. I was one of them. I wanted to be an attorney. I turned into an attorney, right?
Nice.
But you've managed to achieve your dream here. What is the most surprising thing about what you do now that you didn't think you were expecting back then?
How quickly it happened. just watching and just talking to people that have, had to wait years and years to get to where they are. It blows my mind. I'm only 26 years old, and I was able to get my dream job right out of college when I was, oh crap, I gotta do math now. Is it 20, man, 22? I think it was. Yeah, 22, 23. So it's right out of college. As soon as I graduated, that dream job was right there waiting for me. And being able to say, hey, all right, so now that I'm here in this situation, when do I, like, how do I put this into motion? I planned for this for so long. When do I like actually put it in to bring to real life? Because I thought I needed more time. I was so nervous to put everything right away. Like, all right, just throw it out there. The opportunity's here. I thought I needed more time. I think I needed more confidence in myself and more time to put myself and my ideas out in the limelight. But yeah, I think that was the biggest shock for me.
Okay, wonderful.
It just came way too fast.
So part of my goal on this show is to show my audience, there's all these different potential, job opportunities, different career paths they could take. Say someone wants to get into working with a youth center or to working in community. How do they get started? Like, what's the first step? And then where do they go from there?
To be honest with you, I actually had this question asked me not too long ago. If you have a passion to inspire youth, to motivate youth, and to empower them, and you want to be part of a youth center, the first thing I'd say is if you can find a one that's already established, like the YMCA or just different, other things out there. If you can go in there and just say, hey, I want to volunteer. Start the volunteering. Make sure you have your clearances, of course. But if you have that passion to plant the seed in like I would say to inspire youth to be the best that they can be. If you have that passion, volunteer first. Commit that time to volunteer. If you still want to do it after those volunteering hours, then that's when this is what you need to be doing. I've invited so many volunteers to my youth center, and the kids that we work with, they come from some difficult backgrounds. It's challenging backgrounds, and their lives are not easy. They're all they're going through a lot of different things, so they come with a lot of different emotions. And one day they can be very happy, and the next day they could be upset with the world. So
how do you equip yourself to handle that?
I got to put my emotions aside. That's one thing that it's hard to do. Because, if I see a kid that's like angry and they're attacking me sometimes, I'm like, oh, I feel I personally attacked, but I know that it's not me that they're angry at. There's something else going on that I need to help them work through. So I can be a very, very calm person. So when when they're yelling at me or just letting their emotions out, you got to stay calm. Like, all right, so I can see you're upset. You got to work. You got to talk. The way you talk to the youth, it really helps frame the conversation and where the outcome can lead to. So if they're yelling at you and you're coming out with more aggression, it can go bad extremely fast. But if you know that their youth is in an unstable household or is dealing with a lot of stuff in their own personal lives in the streets or whatever, and you're able to bring that small bit of peace to their lives, you got to put your emotions aside and say, hey, I'm here for you. How can I help you? How can I help you get through what's going on right now? And just talk to me. If you need to let it out, let it out. But I understand you're not mad at me. I just want to help you. Yeah. If you're able to let that availability be there and let your personal emotions aside and let them be human, let them feel their emotions, man, the relationships and the communication opens up many, many, many doors.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Okay, I want to talk about your org. I love the Tiger. Tell me about what's going on there.
I appreciate it. So BEAST and the part PUSH they're both acronyms. BEAST is an acronym I started when I was 14 years old when I started working with the youth center, at the youth camp. It stands for Be Yourself, Experience Life at its Full Potential, Achieve Greatness, Shine Like No Other, and Testimony. I've been using that for a long time. The kids still remember it in their minds now after years and years of it. But they use it. They hold on to that beast mode mindset. That's what I call it, the beast mode mindset. And let them know that they have the potential to be great at whatever they strive to do. We always want to push them to be positive and keep that positive mindset, even though, life can be very difficult at certain points. But as long as they continue to push forward, they can come out of that negative situation into a beautiful, positive outcome. With the acronym PUSH, it's players uniting and serving humbly. Like I said, we're really big into community outreach and big into just giving back to the community in general. So with our youth leadership team, we put together a group of youth at all different ages, and we emphasize that we have to do our part to give back to our community. We've partnered up with so many different schools to do Extra Life charity streams. We've partnered up with different. We partnered up with the local park and recreation group to do different events in the park. We were working with the police department to do a Mario Kart kind of tournament, but COVID-19 hit and we had to kind of cancel, unfortunately. So we're working with different people and let people know that we're all in this together. We're all supposed to be a community. So whatever we can unify our community through gaming, we're going to do that. We're going to do it every single opportunity out there.
Fantastic. Okay, LaQuinn, I want to talk about you a little more personally if we can.
Okay.
What makes you special? What makes you unique? What skills do you have that have gotten you to this place?
I'm a person that I strive to prove people wrong. Growing up being the oddball, people kept saying, looked at me differently and looked at me as, the strange one. So I always pushed myself to stand out, I wanted to stand out. For example, when after I graduated high school or right at my senior year, I told my coach said, "Hey, I want to play college basketball." And he looked at me, he was like, it's a certain amount of people that can make the college basketball. I was like, I know, but I feel like I had that potential. He didn't see it. So that was a challenge for me. How can I prove him wrong? Went off to college, and I became part of the basketball team in college. My senior year, I graduated Scholar Athlete of the Year, and was able to really contribute a lot to our basketball team. So I love being told that I can't do certain things, or hey, you're not going to be able to do this, or I don't believe you can do I don't believe you can do this. If I hear that, challenge accepted. Let's figure this out and let's get it done. I'm a go-getter. I'm a person that if I'm a person that's trying to motivate myself and I'm trying to motivate others, I have to live that same mindset. So that beast mode mindset is constantly running in my mind, saying, "Hey, if you want to be the example for the youth coming up behind you, you have to be able to set that example."
Right on.
And I'm doing my best each and every day with streaming, with putting out content on our Facebook page, and putting out community events with our youth leadership team, and making sure that people understand that I'm not doing this for a show. I'm actually living this life each and every day, all hours of the day, all hours of the night, making sure that we have a legacy set for our youth for coming up behind us. So, yeah, I'm all about challenges. I
love it. I'm right there with you. When my mother told me I couldn't do something, I'm like, just watch.
Yeah.
Yes. So now today I tell my daughter, my 3-year-old, that there's only one bad word and it's can't.
Yes.
It's the only 4-letter word I'm willing not to say in this house.
I agree. I got you on that. I agree.
Okay. So what resources do you turn to? How are you discovering and learning what you need to know in order to progress yourself?
I'm doing my best to really reach out to esports organizations that are already established out there. Even if they're small ones or big ones, I want to learn from the general managers that run those organizations. Like, hey, how did you start? How did things work out? What things do you suggest that people avoid? Even if you're working on a youth program, not a lot of esports organizations are focusing on youth in general. It's hard to find that around here. But when it comes to gaming and, you know, sponsorships and networking and all that, they have those key components, and I've been doing my best to learn from that. Like right now, I'm a elite streamer for J4L. It's Just for Looks. It's an esports organization that's big into streaming and content creation, and they also have like an amateur Call of Duty team. So I'm on their stream team. I'm learning from that. From those co-owners about how they started, what they're looking for when it comes to certain things, and what their goals are to expand, and what keeps them going. Because there's times out there that every time when we do like an event, we might have a very, very small turnout because of different things going on. And sometimes me and the youth get discouraged. Like, so what happened? What do we think made people not come to today, or what, you know, stuff like that. And it's hard to keep that drive going when sometimes we hit that small outcome. But getting that feedback from the ones that have been in the game for so long, it's like, you got to keep going, no matter what your numbers look like. Even in streaming, if you have one viewer watching you or no viewers at all, that it's discouraging. But you got to keep pushing forward, because you never know, tomorrow might be even better. The next day could be even better. So you got to continue pushing forward and looking at the bigger picture and the bigger goal. And no matter how long it's going to take you, if you still have that drive to keep pushing forward, something is going to work. Something is going to work. You got to stay driven and passionate about it. So, but yeah, just learning from them have been keeping me motivated and driven to keep going.
Very nice. Okay, so LaQuinn, if you could go back in time 14 or 12 years, and you could go to your 14-year-old self, you put your hand on his back and go, look, little LaQuinn, this is what's going to happen to you over the next 12 years, but here's the one thing you need to know. What is that thing?
Ooh, this is some hard questions. This is a good one. This is because I would say the one thing I would tell my 14-year-old self is to not give up. Because like I said before, there was times that, you know, things became overwhelming. You know, things became the point where it's like, I don't think I'm set or fit or made for this, you know, this journey, and it can get very, very hard. But I would tell myself to continue to push forward. Don't give up. You're gonna fall sometimes, but you're gonna have to get back up. You know, you're gonna have to get back up. So if you continue to not give up on yourself and not beat yourself up about certain things that don't go your way, and understand that if one thing doesn't work, there's a lot of opportunities out there still. I'm pretty sure that I'm sure my 14-year self would appreciate that.
Okay. Kind of on that same note, I believe that we learn the most from our failures in life. You know,
Yes.
When we get knocked down, we got to pick ourselves up, dust ourselves off, figure out what went wrong, and then fix it for next time.
Yep.
So I'd like to ask you, what is something that you have failed at, and what did you learn from it?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say one thing that I failed on is when we first started the concept of the Beast Initiative push, our people knew who I was, but people didn't know people knew who I am, and, you know, what I do and what I'm passionate about. But when I put out the brand of the Beast Initiative push, I don't think I publicized it too much. I don't think I did it. I don't think I gave it justice the way I should have. Because when we had our first event, nobody showed up. It was so quiet in there. Like, it was just me and two of my youth leadership team, and maybe my mom and my sister and her kids. I was like a family gathering. That was it. So trying to get the community to come to that, I'm like, what happened? Like, we put it out there. I just realized Facebook isn't everything. So we have to do more than that. We have to be able to actually communicate more to people about what we do, what our mission is, not just put out an event and say, hey, we're doing this, come see us. Because they don't know who we are at the time. They didn't know that this was my brand. They didn't know that this was people from the community actually doing this. They just saw the brand and assumed that it was just another thing that somebody else wanted to do, and they weren't coming. They just weren't coming to it. And it's
I feel bad.
that
It's
was
happened to all of us.
yeah, it was like, oh man, so we got all this food and well, I guess we're taking this home. Like it felt like it was a weird environment. It was a weird time, but just seeing my family, my family being there, it gave me a flashback to when I was a kid. When my family came together and we played video games together, my little cousins and stuff. It was a lot of fun. So we made the best of it. But yeah, it didn't do us justice. It didn't prove to the community why we were here and what we were trying to do. So that was a big fail.
Okay. How about on the flip side? What are you working to improve on in yourself today?
I'm working on actually being able to network the right way, being able to establish a strong team that will be dedicated to forming this into something bigger than it is now. I'm really looking into having confidence in myself when it comes to these events, and having confidence into my streams and like the content creation that we're trying, the content we're trying to push out there to the community, and just the mission. I want to make sure people understand that we're making sure that the community understands that we are here for them. We're not. It's not the other way around. We want to be able to serve the community and make sure that they understand that we are bringing people together and being that peaceful tool in our community. And that's definitely what I'm driving for.
Wonderful. Okay, LaQuinn, this has been a fantastic interview. How do people find you? Where do they reach out to you at?
So you can find me on Facebook. You can find us on Beast Initiative Push. There it is. Well, Beast Initiative Push on Facebook. We also have a Twitch. If you look up on twitch.tv/true TRU Beast Mode 31, you'll see me. I'm on there every night, Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. to like midnight ish. And then those two are our main focuses right now: Facebook and our Twitch.
Beast Wars had nothing to do with this, right?
Say it again.
Beast Wars had nothing to do with this, right?
It kind of does. Like, we're trying to, how to put it? There's so much behind what we do with our youth leadership team. When we first got established, we had a esports team, we had a youth leadership team, and we also had a IT behind the scenes team. So our esports team was just our youth kind of, being able to display their skills and trying to dive deep into what it means to win. How do you win how do you accept losing? How do you get through all those kind of things? We also went into detail about having conversations with parents about gaming, because I know there's a lot of kids out there right now, especially right now, they're like inside of their rooms playing games for hours, and there's some parents that they're not too fond of that, and I totally respect it. But I use the game Fortnite to explain to the parents about what kind of tools they're using when they're playing this game. They have communication skills, their problem solving skills, conflict resolution skills. There's so many different skills that they're using when it comes to trying to survive in Fortnite that a lot of people never realize.
Too,
exactly.
We don't consider those.
Exactly. There's so much that goes into these kind of games that the kids are using, and parents don't kind of like I won't say they don't know about it, but they don't see it. They don't realize it until it's actually broken down to them. So we're able to have those conversations, and it doesn't justify kids playing games for hours and hours and hours, but it puts it in perspective that their kids can actually learn something out of these games, like Minecraft, and there's all these different kind of games out there that the kids can actually learn some quality tools and skills out of. And if we're able to open that door to having those conversations with the parents, we're all in. That's what we do.
Okay. All right. So do you have any final thoughts to share with us, or anything I didn't ask you think we still need to cover?
Honestly, I think that might be everything. I just want to say thank you again for this opportunity. It's rare to be able to share what we do, and especially outside of our hometown. So, but yeah, I just want to thank you again for having us
Absolutely.
on here.
Of course. Well, LaQuinn Thompson, thank you so much. I genuinely appreciate you taking the time to come with me today.
Thank you, sir.
All right. And on that note, I'm going to remind everybody else, don't be just a gamer, be a gamerpreneur.